touchdown.
Great team win, baby!
Lobs it way downfield, intercepted, coming forward and making the INT for the Colts in the back end.
To see the Colts win Super Bowl.
Hey, win on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Welcome back to the channel. This is Marcus Sniffles, and today we're going to talk about the All-Pro team. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the player, singular, that made the All-Pro team from the Colts, and that is Colts legend. He has reached legendary status at this point, Quenton Nelson. Now, this is his 6th All-Pro team. So Quenton Nelson has been a Pro Bowler every year of his career and made the All-Pro first team his first 3 years in the league. 4th year in the league, he was the second team All-Pro. The next 2 seasons, he did not make an All-Pro team. And then these last 2 years, he was a second team All-Pro. Now, for me, I'm always going to take time out to give Quenton Nelson his flowers as one of the more dominant players at his position all time. Like, he has solidified himself as a Hall of Famer in my book. He solidified himself as getting his jersey retired, Ring of Honor, all the bells and whistles. Anytime he wants a contract extension, anytime he wants extra money for a bonus, whatever it is that he wants, he's at that status where he can get that. Like, when we talk about making first team All-Pro, the first 3 years you're in the league, that's rarefied air. Like, I didn't do too much, in depth, like finding every player that made first team All-Pro their first 3 years. The one person I did find, Barry Sanders. In my book, Barry Sanders is a top 2 running back all time. So we're talking rarefied air when it comes to making the first team All-Pro your first 3 years in the league. Like, when you make the first team All-Pro, that's everybody, media, coaches, players, fans, everybody saying that you're the best at that position. You're the best. Not you're the best in the conference, not you're the best in your division. You're the best in the NFL out of all the players. And Quenton Nelson has been in that conversation the moment he walked into the NFL. The moment he stepped into the league, he was in the conversation for the best guard. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys something. About 90% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed to the channel. Don't be a weirdo. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be part of the 90%. Be a part of the 10%. And let's get that 10% to 90%. So 90% of you guys that are watching are actually subscribed. That will help me out a lot. Cost you nothing. It's free and I'd appreciate it. Now, some of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was the All-Pro snubs. Like, I was like, okay, well, Quenton Nelson, you can pretty much pencil him in every year as being an All-Pro. But I figured, okay, Jonathan Taylor dominated this year on the ground. He should be an All-Pro, right? Like, whereas he didn't make first team. He should be second team. He wasn't second team. So I'm like, okay, let's kind of look into who made the All-Pro teams before Jonathan Taylor did. First team All-Pro is between Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor. Now, I do know a lot of Falcons fans, and we do go back and forth on social media, mostly TikTok, about who the best running back in the league. And we've been kind of going through this all year. But if you look at the numbers between the two, like, it's impossible to argue otherwise that Bijan Robinson should have been first team All-Pro. Like, Jonathan Taylor had more rushing attempts and more rushing yards. He had 1585. Bijan had 1478. Bijan had a higher yards per carry with 5.1. Jonathan Taylor had 4.9. Jonathan Taylor had 18 touchdowns to Bijan's 7 touchdowns. The part that sets Bijan apart from Jonathan Taylor and why he was first team All-Pro, all-purpose yards. Jonathan Taylor only had 46 catches. Bijan Robinson had 79. Jonathan Taylor had 378 receiving yards. Bijan Robinson had 820 at 10 yards a catch and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Jonathan Taylor only had 2 touchdown catches with 8.2 yards a catch. Like, if you look at it, 79 catches for 820 yards and 4 touchdowns for a running back, yeah, you should be first team All-Pro. If you're getting 5 yards a carry and you rush for 1,400 yards with those receiving numbers, yeah, you're the best running back in the league. I got to take the L on that. I do. I hate to admit that, but I'm one of those people where I will stand by my take until my take is wrong. And my take of Jonathan Taylor being a better running back than Bijan Robinson, I was wrong. I got to take the L on that one. And I think the nastiest part about Bijan Robinson's stats when it comes to receptions, he had 79 receptions. He had one less catch than Michael Pittman Jr. Michael Pittman had 80 catches to Bijan's 79 catches. Bijan Robinson had 820 yards. He would have finished second on the team ahead of Tyler Warren, who had 817. Like, that just goes to show you what type of production Bijan Robinson is able to give you in the run game and in the passing game. Like I said, 5 yards a carry, almost 80 catches, over 800 yards. Like, you can't do nothing about that. But I can, and I do have a valid complaint over why James Cook was an all-pro, second-team all-pro, and not Jonathan Taylor. Now, James Cook overtook the rushing title from Jonathan Taylor. He had 1621 to Jonathan's 1585, 5.2 yards a carry, and 12 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had 18 touchdowns on the ground, and he had more catches and more yards. James Cook only had 33 catches, under 300 yards. Jonathan Taylor had 46 catches for almost 400 yards. If Bijan Robinson is first-team All-Pro for his all-purpose yards, for having all those rushing yards and more receiving yards, using that logic, Jonathan Taylor should be second-team All-Pro because he had 1,500 yards and more receptions and passing yards, but more receptions and receiving yards than James Cook. These are the kind of things that bother me about some of the voting and the media and players, coaches, whoever's voting for these things, because it's like, what is the standard? Is it all-purpose yards? Is it receptions? Is it reception yards? Is it rushing yards? Yards per attempt? Because you want to make the argument for Bijan Robinson, that makes sense to me. I don't know how you can justify putting James Cook over Jonathan Taylor when you have Bijan Robinson number one. Bijan Robinson is number one because he was elite on the ground and in the air. Jonathan Taylor was just as good as James Cook on the ground while scoring more touchdowns and catching more passes with more receiving yards. How do you justify James Cook being an all-pro and not Jonathan Taylor? I'm going to have to write Roger Goodell a mean letter. That's what's going to have to happen. You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it. Now, another all-pro, I guess, I don't think this was, I don't have as much of a gripe with this one as I did with the last one. But I really thought Tyler Warren would have made an all-pro team. Now, it would have been extremely tough for him to make it as a rookie because it is tough for rookies to make all-pro. But then I saw Kyle Pitts made it. And like I said, I follow and know a lot of Falcons fans, and Falcons fans want Kyle Pitts off their team. They don't want him on the team anymore. And if you look at his numbers compared to Tyler Warren, 76 catches. Kyle Pitts, 88. Tyler Warren, 817. Kyle Pitts, 928 yards. They both had about 11 yards a catch. Tyler Warren had 4 touchdowns to Kyle Pitts' 5, while Tyler Warren also had 1 rushing touchdown. Like, Kyle Pitts clearly had better numbers than Tyler Warren this past season. And I think it's mostly because Kyle Pitts had like 1 breakout game against Tampa Bay where he had like 11 catches and over 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, you take that one outlier game away from his, season, then Tyler Warren's probably an all-pro. And Tyler Warren kind of did hit that rookie wall where it's like after about 12, 13 weeks, rookies tend to either flatline or fall off. And I think that's what happened with Tyler Warren. But I do believe Tyler Warren is an all-pro player. And within the next 3 years, he will make an all-pro team. So another thing I wanted to talk about are who are the potential all-pros on this team going forward. Like, obviously, Quentin Nelson is a staple for an All-Pro, but I think some of the players that should be in the running for being an All-Pro going forward, like if I had to like bet money on it, but not get, I probably wouldn't get great odds for it, but Sauce Gardner, who was, a previous All-Pro, a two-time All-Pro, Javarius Ward, he's been an All-Pro before, and DeForest Buckner, who's also been an All-Pro. Now, DeForest Buckner, I probably wouldn't bet on him going forward. Sauce and Ward, I think that they have the highest potential on, at least on defense, to become All-Pros. Now, if you want to talk about sleeper, like potentially like under the radar dark horse, All-Pro selections from our team, if hopefully we bring him back, but I think Nick Cross, just with his versatility, with tackling, his sack numbers, interception numbers, like I just think his versatility should help him be in the conversation for making an All-Pro. I think Tanner Bornolini, I think he's going to continue to ascend, and as long as Jonathan Taylor continues to dominate on the ground, people will start to look at other people on that offensive line outside of Quentin Nelson and be like, okay, who else is out? Who else is playing well on this Colts offensive line? They've been dominant for years now, and maybe Tanner Bornolini's name can get thrown out there. And the person that I think that has the best, the highest potential to be an All-Pro, that's kind of, I don't know if he's considered under the radar, but I got to put my money on Latu. Like the way he makes plays, gets sacks, tackles for losses, and interceptions, like those, like counting stats do matter. And I think if he makes that third year jump that most defensive ends make, and continues to, make plays in the passing game, I don't see why he shouldn't be an All-Pro. Now, I tend to end these videos, I try to end these videos on a high note, but there are a few negative sides to the All-Pro team. Like, there are players in our division, not just our conference, our division that we're going to have to deal with. Now, you can look at the Texans. They actually have two of them, Will Anderson and Derek Stingley Jr. And they have All-Pros in the most important spots on your defense. Like if you were to look at any defense, if you're like, okay, you want to build the perfect defense, you can only pick one elite player at one position. What position would you pick? Half of the people are going to pick pass rush. The other half are going to pick cornerback. The Texans have both. Will Anderson is one of the most dominant pass rushers, run-stopping defensive linemen that we have going right now. And he's someone that we have to deal with in our division going forward. Same thing with Derek Stingley, one of the best lockdown corners in the NFL that we're going to have to deal with for probably a decade. The Texans having both of those, having both solved problems on their defense is frustrating, and it's going to be tough going forward trying to win this division. You also, look at the Tennessee Titans. They have Jeffrey Simmons. Now, as dominant as I think Quentin Nelson is, if you watch him go up against Jeffrey Simmons, he does struggle against him. Like Jeffrey Simmons didn't play the second game at home. I believe it was a home game against the Colts, but that first game on the road, like Jeffrey Simmons does tend to, I'm not saying he gets the best of Quentin Nelson, but you can see if you ever want to see Quentin Nelson have a little bit of a struggle, it's him against Jeffrey Simmons and Aaron Donald. And thankfully Aaron Donald is out of the league. And the last person, Devin Lloyd, linebacker at Jacksonville. Again, these are players at premium positions. Like, imagine if we had a Will Anderson or a Derek Stingley or Jeffrey Simmons or Devin Lloyd. Like, we have a dominant pass rusher, or we had a dominant cornerback, or we had a dominant defensive tackle, or a dominant linebacker. Any one of those players would change the way our defense produces and plays and shows up on a game-to-game basis. And those are the players that we have to deal with going forward in this division. And we're going to have to bring in some great talent and hit on these drafts going forward. Now, before I end the video, I also want to note that CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, they've been in the AFC South for 3 years. They have won the division twice, and they have 3 playoff wins at the time of this recording. Chris Ballard has been in the AFC South for 9 years. He has never won the division, and we've won 1 playoff game under him. So, good thing we're bringing him back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Every Monday at 7 in the morning, we drop videos with Colts content. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.